The shooting that severed Scott Gleason's spinal cord could have torn his family apart. Instead, it's bringing them together.
There's your good days and bad days.
Scott can't say much.
I don't like talking.
But he wants to share his story so that others may not have to go through what he's going through.
So I can only feel above my waist.
This tragedy began to unfold September 27th at a house in Fort Collins. Scott and his brother Guy had just moved in together.
I had one of my guns in the house that I had moved, and I was explaining to him how I was having problems with the pistol cycling properly, and I was kind of showing him.
Somehow, the gun fired, one shot, a split second, and everything changed.
I was sitting in the living room on the couch when my brother's gun was fired. There's not much else I remember other than not being able to breathe.
Guy says he didn't even realize the gun was pointing towards Scott.
I rushed over to him like, "Scott, are you okay?" And I was looking all over on his chest and everything, making sure everything's okay, and I didn't see anything at first. And he was able to lift his head up a little bit, and then that's when I saw the gunshot right underneath. He was talking very clearly at the time. He's like, "Guy, I can't move, I can't move, I can't breathe, I can't breathe." And then I was trying to apply pressure to the wound, and he looked up at me and he's like, "Guy, I'm dying." And that was really hard to take. And he said it several times, and I'm like, "You're still with me, buddy, stay with me."
Scott is seen here on the far right at work on an oil rig just weeks before the accident. His parents describe him as the hardest working, most caring person you'd ever meet. And they say their other son, Guy, would never do anything to hurt him.
It's really difficult. It really is. You want to be mad at somebody, but, that's your other son. And it's hard. It was an accident, He knows it was an accident. Scott knows it was an accident. We know it was an accident. But if it were somebody else, then you could have more anger to direct at somebody.
Scott's parents gave up everything they had, a nice home and good jobs in San Antonio, Texas, to be here in the hospital with him as he recovers. And as difficult as it's been for them, they say they would have it no other way.
I'd do it again every day. If one of our kids needs us, we'll do whatever it takes. I'm not going to let Guy go through this. I'm not going to let Scott go through this alone.
They're just trying to be strong for Scott.
If I could take my spinal cord out and give it to him, I'd give it to him.
But Scott really is the strong one, already offering his brother forgiveness.
He told me personally that, everything happens for a reason, and that he couldn't really see his future before this. And now he thinks he can see it a little more clearly. There's a lot of hope. And just the fact that he's here, we're just concentrating on that, and we'll be here every single step of the way.
After 6 weeks in intensive care, Scott is moving around and making progress in rehab. The Gleason family is looking for ways to prevent this from happening to anyone else. Mostly, they just want people to be more aware when they're around guns. In Loveland, Deborah Takahara, Fox 31 Denver.